Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is James. Today I'm going to show you guys a very easy method on making some delicious and perfect roast potatoes. And not just the typical roast potatoes, but more, say, the fluffy roast potatoes that you get in a very nice restaurant when you go out for, say, Christmas dinner or anything like this. So if you do happen to be interested in any cookery lessons, or at least wanting to know more on the basics of cooking, then be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to stay up to date. And don't forget to hit that little like button, as it helps greatly with the algorithm, so this video can be seen to more people. And if you want to share it, then feel free to do so. So let's get started. To make these roasted potatoes today, we're just going to need a few things. If you have duck fat, that would be fantastic, or lard of any sort. You don't have to use it to make these roast potatoes, but it does make them go from being good to excellent. The other thing is, what type of potato do you use? Now, you need some sort of starchy potato, something that'll actually fry or roast well. If you have Kennebec potatoes, they work quite well. This is a hybrid, it's a newer type of potato that's good for french fries, roasting, and all those sorts. But any other type that's similar, that is very starchy and fries well, will do the job. For the sake of making these easier, it's a good idea to pick more or less all the same size potatoes, and if they do happen to have, say, like eyes growing on them, knock these off before you peel them. Now, to peel the potatoes is very easy. I'm gonna take my little peeler, my pinch grip one, since it peels a lot easier, and I'm gonna do this in the sink. You can do it on the cutting board if you want, but in the sink, the mess stays in the sink, and it's much easier to clean all the mess when it's in the sink. And one quick tip about potatoes in general: if you start to see any greenness growing on your potatoes, like a green skin to them, don't use them. The reason why it's turning green is through photosynthesis, and there's a possibility that it also contains other chemicals that may harm you if you eat it. So anytime that you see any green potatoes at the grocery store, don't buy them. And to store potatoes properly, you never want to leave them in the sun. You always want to put them, say, in a cold, dark place, as it's a root vegetable, and they will start growing if you leave them out in the sun. You do want to try to get all the potatoes to be more or less the same size. So this is why it's important to pick the same ones that are more or less the same size. But if you do need to cut them, try to leave them big, because if they do happen to break on you, it's better that they're in a bigger piece. But if you do have to cut them, I would say to cut them into large pieces, just like this, because when they cook, they will shrink a little bit. So first we're going to parboil these. Now, parboiling is half cooking, right? It's to parboil, it's to half cook, par cook. So after I've peeled all the potatoes, I'm going to fill this up with water, and I'm going to put this on the boil. It's going to come up to a boil. You want to season the water just a little bit, not too much. We'll add a little bit of salt while we're cooking this. And we want to par cook these, so not all the way through. In other words, if you take the knife and the knife does not go all the way through, this is good. They have to be more or less, the ends have to be soft, but the centers have to be still solid. If you cut them the same size I did, it'll take around 10 minutes more or less. Now, it's a good idea to preheat our oven to about 220 centigrade, 400 and say 25 Fahrenheit, more or less. And once the timer goes off, again, give them a check. And if they're ready, if they're not fully cooked, we're going to take them off the heat. We're going to strain them, pour them into the colander. And now we're going to rough them up. This is what's going to give the potatoes their texture. Now, you can either rough these potatoes up in the colander, however I would do it in the sink, because the colander has a lot of holes, it'll give the potatoes more texture, or you can rough these up in, say, a gastro or a half-size hotel pan. If you are using a hotel pan though, I would suggest to put the fat in there, or the oil, some salt Maldon, and then either your choice of, say, some garlic or some thyme, some aromatic herbs to give the potatoes a little more like aromatics. And then I would cover it extremely well with, say, some clear film. Wrap it a couple times and then shake them hard. Not too hard if you cook them a little too much, but just hard enough to give the potatoes, again, a very nice texture on the outside. The more that you shake them, or the more of a texture they have, the more they'll absorb the fat or the oil, and the crispier they'll be after we cook. Now you can leave them on the hotel pan or put them in an oven tray to roast. We're gonna put a timer on for about 30 minutes at 220 centigrade. And about halfway through, we're going to turn the potatoes and check as well. We want color on all sides. And if the potatoes are done after you take a knife and it goes easily through and the potatoes are finished and they still don't have enough color on them, then I would crank up the heat even higher, turn it on maximum for just a few minutes just to brown them, just to give them a nice golden brown color to them. I'm gonna cut up some fresh parsley and mix this in with the potatoes, and that's it. They're super easy and tasty and a great side addition to any, say, roast or any dinner for, say, the holidays, for Christmas, or, well, Thanksgiving passed already, but for Christmas or anything like this. So guys, if you have any questions or comments, then don't hesitate to ask me down below, especially if you are interested in, say, the cookery course or lessons. I'm also on Patreon if you'd like to support the channel and check that out. And of course, if you do want to, say, see more of my content and videos, then be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the video down below. So in any case, guys, I'll see you again very soon. Take care.